Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's Katie, and today we're going to be talking about books I've read recently. We're going to be yapping in the car, like we're just two girls hanging out, okay? We're here in my car. We are literally just two girls hanging out. What can I say? Okay, what can I say? I have been in the slumps, dumps, what's the word I'm looking for? I have not been doing well on my reading goal. That's really what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I'm trying to get all fancy with the way I'm telling you that, but I set my reading goal 20 books higher this year than I have in the past 2 years. And just for everyone who knows, like, instead of setting my reading goal at 30 books, I set it at 50, okay? I feel like I've been talking a lot about my reading goal and being like, I set it higher, but then like not explaining. And that's the explanation. Now, I work a full-time job, okay? And I also have horses and like a YouTube channel, like all these things going on. I am literally busy. I'm a busy girl, okay? You get what I'm saying here. And so for me, like, I know there's lots of booktubers that read like 130 books a year, 150. That's just never gonna be me. It's never realistic for me because this is not like my full-time gig, okay, guys? We got a lot going on here. So that's not me. So 50 is like my big number that I've never been able to hit. I set it at 50 like 3 years ago and I got to 47. And it's really gotten my goat ever since then that I was 3 books away and I just couldn't like swing it somehow. Like, Katie of the past, how did you not just make that work? And when I think about yearly reading challenges and how many books I'm reading a year, and when I think about the fact that I've set it at like 30 the last 2 years, I'm like, guys, I only have so many years of my life to read books, and if I can only read 30 a year, how am I going to get to all the books I want? You see what I'm saying? Anyways, that's not what this, what am I ranting about? That's not even what this video is about. How does that relate to what we're talking about? We're talking about the books I read recently. So I wanted to do monthly wrap-ups at the end of every month this year. After January, I got into a slump. And whose fault was that? If you watched my last reading wrap-up, you'll remember I was so excited about a very specific girl who is coming out in February that I couldn't wait to read. And honestly, that's where we're going to start this journey. I'm going to be telling you about all the books I've read between February and April, beginning of April. I've literally only read 5 books. This is, see why the reading goal comes into play here, that I like need to like speed it up, but let's stop yapping. Actually, let's pause this yapping and start the next yapping, okay? We've got something to talk about. And we're gonna start with the culprit herself, the person who put me in a reading slump to begin with. Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Imagine being me, the person who was more excited for Deep End than any person probably on this whole entire earth. And then Deep End comes out, and guess what happens? I hated it. I hated it. That is like, okay, hate's a strong word. We won't say hate. I feel like that might be rude. I didn't hate it, but I gave it 3 stars. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, maybe it's even less stars. But Ali Hazelwood's a good writer. So even though I did not like this book and I did not enjoy it, and it literally sent me into Slump City, I still love Ali, and I still want to give her the credit that's due for writing, like, well. She writes well. Like, these aren't bad. She doesn't write poorly. But, like, in this case, it just did not hit for me for so many reasons. I could literally deliver a TED Talk about why this didn't work for me, but we're going to just try to keep it light here, try to keep it fresh, and stick to the script. Number one, I wasn't into them as a couple. Like, it wasn't really believable to me. I didn't really see the chemistry. Like, I don't feel like they had that much in common besides, like, their interests in the bedroom, which is, like, what the whole book is about. And in my, maybe that's just because it's me. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I was not tied to this, okay, this couple. I wasn't believing it. It felt very surface level. It felt like he was, like, instantly in love with her. And, like, there are some situations in Ali Hazelwood books where that happens, but it's really that he's, like, been pining away from her for years, and that just, like, wasn't happening here. So maybe it's also just, like, the trope wasn't my trope. I don't know. Number 2, way too many side plots. It was a swimming book, but it was also a women in STEM book because she's in the lab, and so is he, and they're going to school, and blah, 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 and, like, there's this whole science-y backplot that I'm like, who's paying attention to this? We have too much going on. And there's also, like, his ex-girlfriend is her new best friend. Ex-girlfriend of like one day, like that's a whole other piece of this. Pen. Imagine a side character ruining an entire book for you and then becoming a main character of the book, okay? Pen in this book ruined this book for me. Ruined it. She slaughtered it. Like, she came like the Grim Reaper and reaped this book's soul out. Because why was she such a large part of this book? And I heard so many people have the same complaint as me. I waited a long time before I watched anybody's reviews. I really sat on it and thought about it. Because again, I have like never rated an Allie book. Literally, I have one book that's not 5 stars, and that's Check and Mate. Everything else is 5 stars. She's an auto-buy author for me. So I was thinking maybe I'm just like in my head, maybe it was the couple thing, maybe it was like this, their weird like premise of why they get together. I don't know. But then I hear other people also talking about the best friend Pen. And I'm like, okay, so it is this weird ass character just sticking around through the whole book. It would be like if you met somebody in a lobby one time and they just like were a little bit problematic and then they just like kept coming around and sticking around and you just like added them to the cast of characters in your regular life. Like, this girl belongs in the lobby. Why is she in the hotel room? Like, why is she here? Why, Pen, why are you here? Like, is this Pen's book? Whose book is this? I'm not even gonna get further into it. That was my major beef. Pen needed to go. I did not like the couple together. I didn't think they had believable chemistry. And then like the overall premise, like why they get together doesn't really work for me. It doesn't really get explained. And then there was just way too many side plots and we were trying to do too many things at once. And I'm like trying to learn inward dives and like her side plot about how she can't dive. And then I'm also keeping track of her side plot of she's becoming best friends with the guy she's sleeping with, ex-girlfriend of like one day, who's also on her team. And then I'm like, it's just going too many ways. So Deep End by Allie Hazelwood, 3 stars, do not recommend. That's a 3 stars with a not recommendation. And it pains me to say it. Moving on.
I would say Who Hurt You, but we all know who it was. It was Allie Hazelwood.
The next thing I picked up was Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. Okay, if you know me, you know I've done a lot of videos on this channel about Cowboy's Wife Reads Cowboy Romance. I talk about it a lot, and I give reviews, and I have had mixed but good situations with the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage. I feel like I should do another video just like talking about it as a whole once I read Wild and Wrangled and like really getting into the nitty-gritty of each book, but I'll just say the first one, Done and Dusted, I was like medium about. It was 3 stars. It was eh. And then the second one, Swift and Saddled, I really liked. I think I gave it 4 stars. And then now I've read the third one, which is Lost and Lassoed. And this one I gave 2 stars. I buddy read this with my best friend Amara when she was here from England. And Amara loves these books, but she also was like, I feel like this book kind of sucks. Like, I don't know if the series is really like, it's starting to like taper off and it's not going great. This is Gus and Teddy's book, which I was really excited for because they hate each other. And this is about them getting together. So it's like enemies to lovers. It's also best friend's brother. It's like a lot of things that I think would be like great tropes to like play into. Gus runs the ranch. I thought we'd get a lot of ranch I don't know. I thought it would be good. Now, I don't passionately hate this as much as I hated Deep End, but that's because I had such high hopes for Deep End, okay? Deep End was my girl. Deep End was my everything. Deep End was going to save me from tears and any stress in my life. Lost and Lassoed, I kind of went in it being like, it's going to be a 3-star book, likely. That's like where my averaging is on this series. And it just felt completely flat. First of all, I just don't know, like, that Gus and Teddy even had, like, a romance like plot. It feels like Teddy just started like coming around Gus's house and then all of a sudden Gus was just like one day like, maybe I don't hate her, and then they're in love. Like, it happens so quickly, and then what unfolds slowly is like stuff that doesn't really matter in the background. Like, I don't know. And it's, these books do feel very formulaic. It's like you're gonna get cowboy and girl has problem with life, girl has like to overcome problem to get with guy falls in love with her, doesn't want to say it, guy has heart to heart with ranch dad makes them breakfast, the end. Like that.
Tell me that wasn't the best Lila Sage Rebel Blue Ranch description you've ever heard. I think I just hit all the major plot points of every book in that series.
Is that crazy of me to say? I don't think so if you've read them. So wasn't super in love with that. My review literally says, so boring I just wanted it to end, which makes me sad. When you feel like it's so boring you just want it to end, you know it's not a great book. So I'm like in slump territory coming off Deep End. Then I read Lost and Lassoed and I'm like, it's not getting any better, guys. Maybe all books suck. And again, I'm trying not to buy any books. So I'm like, what's next? I look at my shelves and I say, hey, you know what I own that I could potentially read The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I have an original 2018 book copy of The Cruel Prince from like when it very first came out. And so I have been thinking about rereading it because I was like, I had a reaction to it the first time I finished it, but it was like the first book I read getting back into reading years and years and years ago in 2018, okay? And I was thinking maybe I didn't like it then because I just didn't have like the taste for it, and maybe I've acquired that taste now. And since I've read more and I'm like more aware of what's good and what's bad, I can like dive into this and see if I actually like it. Now, I rated The Cruel Prince, I think 3 stars the first time I read it because it was just and I didn't really feel like continuing. The second time I read it, I also felt and didn't feel like continuing. Where am I at on The Cruel Prince now? I actually have a whole reading vlog of me reading this book, so I'm not gonna like go too deep into like my deep thoughts of like why The Cruel Prince rocks or sucks, because you can go see my whole entire like the roller coaster of a relationship me and The Cruel Prince had, you know, at the beginning of this month. You can watch it on my YouTube channel, links in the description. But I just like literally ended up being like, I don't know. At the end of the reading vlog, I was like, I'm gonna sit on it and decide if I want to read The Wicked King or not, because like I've heard it gets better in the second book. I've heard that like the first book's just like a ramp up and you got to keep going. And I can definitively say now, it's been like 2+ weeks since I finished The Cruel Prince, I'm not gonna keep going. I'm not that interested in it. I've read things that are much more in depth and fascinating than The Cruel Prince. I've read a lot of high fantasy that like really like gets me going, that I love. And I was interested in this because I heard it was very political from a few friends, and they were like, people go into it thinking it's a romance and then they don't realize it's political. The political side is why you should read this book. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go into it thinking politics. I read into it thinking politics and I was like, who is this for? Teen girls. It's not as in-depth as adult fantasy is. And I've like read really robust political sci-fi and fantasy, and like when you read that, this is just child's play compared to that. It just does not compare to those books, and so it just didn't do enough for me. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with The Cruel Prince. It might even get better as you go on, but it's just like not my thing. I feel about it. All these people that have passionately negative feelings about it, I will say, are crazy. Like I ate it up, okay? I read the whole thing. There was no like lulls really. I didn't feel like too wound up about it. Towards the end, I was ready for it to wrap up, but I know how the book ends. Also, the twist in it, in the reading vlog, I was like, I don't really know if the twist is really that exciting, and I would say probably not that and crazy, but like if you're interested in it, read it. And especially if you're just getting back into reading, I think you would have fun reading it. I don't feel like it's a slog to get through. It's a 3-star book. Why am I over explaining this? It's a 3-star book. I'm not going to continue on with the series. That was The Cruel Prince. One thing The Cruel Prince did do for me, got me out of my reading slump. Don't know how, don't know why. I guess I read it and I was like, turns out even when books aren't that great, they're not this bad. We're looking at you, Deep End. Okay? So then I moved on. I was like feeling good, feeling fine, feeling like I could jump into something else. And I moved on to something that I am so excited about. And I can't wait to tell you about, because this is where we start. The graph goes up here, okay? This is where we start going up. And that is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Richard, I was very interested in this book. I bought it a long time ago. This came off my shelves, guys. Be proud of me. I bought this a long time ago because I was really interested in like reading a mystery. I haven't read one like really in my adult life. So I was like, let's give it a shot. I read some of the Maureen Johnson books a few years ago and I really liked them. So I guess I have read some mystery in my adult life, but I just hadn't gotten like dove into like adult titles or anything. This is about a group of elderly people who live in a retirement community and they're super obsessed with true crime and they like solving crimes, okay? It's like their little gang, their little like found family group of friends, and they run around the retirement community solving murders, okay? And then a real murder happens in their community, like involving people that they know, and their little group decides they're going to get in on this murder and try to solve it and be involved in any way that they can. They befriend one of the police officers that's working on the case and they start investigating on their own. Our main character, I would say she's the main character, Elizabeth, used to work in like the FBI or something. I don't know. No, she won't disclose who she worked for, but she was doing some like interesting work. And so she's got a lot of industry connections where she can kind of get things investigated that maybe usually a person wouldn't have, like they wouldn't be able to like call in a favor to the coroner, but Elizabeth does. So she's able to like fully investigate and solve this murder, which was so fun to watch. It's all funny. Like it's not scary or gory or like, you're not going to get queasy reading this. It's just fun and you're going to laugh so hard. They definitely play up that they're elderly. They definitely play up the the antics and just like they talk like old people. I love the way that the book is written. There are like some chapters that are from Joyce's diary. Joyce is one of the like girls in the like little group. There's 2 guys and 2 girls in their little Thursday murder club, and she writes diary entries, and she's like babbling like a elderly woman would, and I love it. I eat it up. It's so comforting. Why was a book about murder comforting? Only Richard Osman can answer that. Only Richard Osman can answer that. I had so much fun reading it. It was the perfect book to read on flights. I was like flying to and from San Francisco when I read it, and I think I read it in like 3 days. Ate it up. Amazing. Live, laugh, loved it. 5 stars. Highly recommend if you're looking for something light and fun. If you're in a slump even, like it might help you like get out of it. And it was easy to follow. It was so well written, and it just felt like I was watching a show, like I was watching Only Murders in the Building or something. And that's probably because Richard Osman was a screenwriter before this. He's like written lots of like things for, I'm not sure if it's TV or movies or both, but this is his first book, and there's multiple in this series. I don't know how like excited I am to keep reading in the series, because it's not like one of those situations where, at least as far as I'm aware, where like there's like a serious like long plot line. It was more just like, I think it's going to be one of those situations like most mystery books where it's like they get a crime and they solve it in that one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So I'm not like too worried about continuing on, but I think I definitely will pick something else up by him because I had so much fun. We have made it to the last book that I have not told you guys about, and you are going to be so excited to hear about it, because I quite frankly cannot stop yapping about it, because listen, I bought this book on a whim thinking it was going to be trash. I like to call certain books good trash. It's garbage, but I'm having so much fun, okay? It's the stupidest thing I've ever read, and I love it, okay? And there's a time and a place for garbage, okay? And for trash. I thought this book might be good trash, but I wasn't sure. I didn't know, but that's what I thought it was. I had heard that it was well written, but I was like, I don't know. Like, the content of this book that I've heard, like what it's about, doesn't seem like it could be written like super flowery or anything. Guys, I'm obsessed. I'm in love. It might be one of my favorite series of all times if it keeps this up. Magnolia freaking Parks. I'm in shock. I'm in shock. That's how much I love this book. You had to pry this book out of my cold, dead hands. I was like a fiend. Like I was on drugs. Like literally my first update on Goodreads was, what did they put in this? What drug is in this book? Because I cannot stop reading it. Oh my gosh. Magnolia Parks is about a toxic ass relationship between Magnolia Parks and BJ Ballantyne, and all the ups and downs of it, and why it's so terrible, and why they are seemingly stuck together but also not stuck together. I thought this was just gonna be dumb, and that it was gonna be just a toxic relationship played up for like, this is so romantic, but it's not at all. Not at all. Do not go into this thinking like, oh, I'm about to read a romance, because while it is that kind of, it's also not that at all. Not at all. It is a toxic friend group of codependent boarding school kids, that's literally how it's described in the book, who all have done dumb things and have like fucked the friend group in different ways, and because of that, it's just such hot gossip. You cannot put it down. I know a lot of people reading these books hate every character and think they all suck. I'm gonna tell you, I actually really like Magnolia. Is she superficial? Is she materialistic? Yes, sometimes. Does she make mistakes? Sure, but like, I don't hate her. BJ though, if I find that man in the streets, he's gone. Like if BJ has no haters, I'm dead. Okay, I hate that man, and I have such a good feeling they're gonna end up together, and I can't think about it. I can't think about it in good conscience that they're gonna end up together. So read Magnolia Parks, literally obsessed with it. 5 stars. Can you believe that? I can't. I did not think it was gonna be. It's crazy how I just read 2 5-star books off my TBR, off of my shelves, guys, in my office, that have been sitting there for months and months and months, like 9+ months, some of them maybe a year, that I've just never picked up. And it turns out they're like the best books. Like obviously you would like them. You picked them out for yourself. Anyways, guys, that's that, okay? I read Magnolia Parks. I loved it. I've moved on. I'm now reading Daisy Hates. If you know anything about the series, you get a Magnolia book, and then a Daisy book, and then a Magnolia book, and then a Daisy book, and then another Magnolia book. But I am on the 2nd book now, and I'm not as into Daisy's book as I thought I would be, but I am definitely loving Daisy's life. She's so different from Magnolia in a lot of ways, and it follows the same timeline as the first Magnolia Parks book. So you go back in time to the beginning of Magnolia Parks and you're reading it through like Daisy and her brother Julian's POV, which you hear about them in the Magnolia book. So, really enjoying it. I'm on page like 50 of that and it's going well, and it's looking like my reading time, like we're ramping up. Like I said, we're going to be reading 5-star books from here on out. I hope and pray, please God. But yeah, that's what I've read lately. I just wanted to yap to you guys. Thank you for listening. If you are someone who usually comes here for rodeo vlogs and you decided to stick around and watch some book content, thank you. I love you. I'm so appreciative of you. If you're somebody that reads book content and you stick around for the rodeo content, thank you. I love you. Thank you for letting me do whatever the hell I want, because that's what this channel is all about. It's just me yapping, making videos about me and my life and whatever I want to talk about at any given time, okay? So I appreciate you. I love you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Subscribe. If you don't subscribe, we're gonna have a problem. That's all I'm gonna say. You cannot make it to this point in the video and not subscribe to me. I'm delightful. Don't you want this in your sub box every week? I feel like you do. Okay, I love you guys so much. I will see you in the next reading, like little recap video we do. Please be thinking of me and sending all the good energy towards me for good books for the rest of the year. If you read anything that I talked about, or you want to, or you have any, like, just like tell me in the comments. Let's talk about these books. Love you guys so much. I will see you in the next video. Peace.
This is hard.
She said don't call my phone on a Friday night, but I never did listen. So I'ma hit you now on a FaceTime, and I know you won't miss it. Girl, I know you waited till ain't know